Oh man, Alex,
Yeah.
if my phone deletes another recording again or stops for no
Are you
reason,
gonna throw it?
no, I'm gonna get a gun license. We're going to go immediately to the nearest gun shop.
Oh, that's
We're
not
gonna
hard.
get a shotgun, and we're gonna light this phone up.
Okay. I'd be cool for that, except I'd be breaking your phone. But
Well, here's the deal. I qualify. I think I have another upgrade, a phone upgrade coming. You know, after those 2-year contracts expire.
yeah.
So I have one coming up. So, yeah.
Oh, you do? Never
yeah.
mind then. In that case, that
Yeah,
sounds
so-
like fun.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, if you want to do it on the cheap end, you can always hit your phone with a baseball bat.
That doesn't carry the same weight.
Doesn't feel as good.
It won't
Fair
be as
enough.
satisfying.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so after Peach, let's see, what were we talking about?
We were talking about
Yeah.
mean celebrity tweets and whatnot.
Yeah, so let's see, what did we talk about during the portion that was deleted? Pinche's Tacos. That shit is delicious.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a review of it sometime soon.
Yeah, that will be.
I love fish and tortillas. Then we talked about how our prediction was right. There's
Yeah, we
greater
talked.
backlash against Call of Duty Ghosts now, and this is the one where everyone sort of changes their opinion about the series.
And had
We had a pretty long discussion about that, and I don't really want to jump back into it again. And now we're on to the new consoles.
new console.
New consoles. All right.
The PS4, as you guys know, was released Friday. It sold 1 million copies in 24 hours,
Yeah. So we are officially in.
which is less than how many copies of Grand Theft Auto sold. It guaranteed it's also a console, so
Yeah.
that makes a difference. But the reviews for it have been good. People like it. Also has the ability to turn off features you don't like, which I think is a big appeal. Being able to turn off things you don't like, which I think is also part of what people didn't like the Xbox One for.
I mean, the big thing that the PlayStation 4 is doing now is that they're marketing the PlayStation 4 as a machine that you play video games on, not
Yeah.
sort of as
Entertainment
the center
system.
of your living room or the greatest home entertainment system in the world. So, and this is definitely in reaction to the whole Xbox One marketing fiasco during the
E3.
2013 E3
Mhm.
festival thing conference where Microsoft was trying to market the Xbox One as the new television, where you're going to build your entire living room around it, and Sony just said, you're going to play games on it. It's going to be the best machine
Yeah.
for you to play video
So
games
we'll
on.
see. We'll see what happens because the Xbox One comes out this Thursday, the 21st. It comes out this week.
Yeah.
But I think what Sony understands that Microsoft doesn't. It basically understands its reception of its technology, because I think the Xbox One biggest problem is, despite all the restricted access use, is the Kinect. I think the Kinect is the center of the problem. Because basically, as far as I've been able to tell, nobody has ever really liked the Kinect. Unless I'm, correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
I mean, seriously, yeah. To our 5 followers or so, do you like the Kinect? And please tell us why, because...
And if you know somebody who does, even if you personally don't, ask them why
Yeah.
the Kinect is good. And it's an answer I have yet to hear from anybody, which is strange. Usually on the internet you see every type of opinion under the sun,
Yeah.
but you do not see
And we
someone
mean-
says the Kinect is great.
Yeah, I mean every single opinion.
I've never seen
And-
a video game journalist that's never written one.
And you won't meet and as far as I know, you won't hear anyone outside of Microsoft's Xbox division say that Kinect has changed the way that they play video games.
It hasn't. It's
Ever.
just, it's the idea that motion controller technology, not that it's bad, but it's just not quite advanced enough. It's not there yet. It's just not, and I don't think will ever work. I think one video game author put is that motion controllers go against what people who like video games like.
What people who play video games want is to
Relax.
be able to relax, and most importantly, to be able to manipulate whatever's happening on their screen with the least amount
Of effort.
And I'm not trying to say that gamers are lazy. It's just that it helps with the immersion, really. It's all about the immersion. It kind of ruins it if you have to,
do
jumping jacks to make your character jump. Where it's just shit that gets in the way of what's happening on the screen, where you want to think about, what's the best way to put this? You want to think about what you have, you don't want to think about what you have to do. Like when you play a first-person shooter, you don't think that, alright, I have to turn with the right stick, I have to move the right thumbstick to the right to turn my character, and if I want to walk, I have to push forward with the left thumbstick, or if I want to run and shoot, I have to push forward left stick, control it, aim. You don't want to think about all of that.
Yeah, to me,
and with motion
I
controls,
see the Kinect as the phrase reinventing the wheel. That's kind of how I see the Kinect in my mind, is trying to reinvent what doesn't need to be reinvented.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that a lot better than me. I was struggling to find the words. I'm
It's just
so
that
fucking mad about that
Don't fix
recording,
what isn't
man.
broken. Like,
God.
it's just... It's like if you had, like, the immersion, I think, is a great point, Peter. Imagine, like, if you were reading a book, you had to do a push-up every time you wanted to turn the page. Imagine having to read a book. You just don't want to be... If you're reading a book, you just want to sit there and, like, not have to do... Just sit there and basically not do anything. You're just reading a book. You don't want to have to, like, do a dance routine to read it, which is what the Kinect feels like. It's trying to do a really bad dance routine. It just makes you uncomfortable. Because I had a Kinect when I bought my new Xbox, and I tried it, and I sold it within, like, 2 weeks. I sold my Kinect, just the Kinect, because I disliked it that much.
Just no interest at all.
And I don't know, like, why, and I think that's what's baffling most people, I think, is why the Xbox One seems to be focusing so heavily on the Kinect, a feature that was not well received. No, there was no successful game on the Kinect.
Well, it seems like it's just sort of that it's Microsoft's modus operandi. Where once Microsoft is dead set on something, they're going to do it and try to force other people to adapt to it.
No, you can't
sort
force
of like
people to adapt and want something. You have to
sort of
create
like Windows
the
8. Have you used Windows 8?
Oh yeah, so Windows Vista.
No, Windows 8.
Oh, Windows 8.
Yeah, I bought a PC.
I've not used
over
Windows
the time
8,
Windows
but
8.
I've heard.
And I can tell you, it's a fucking disaster. It's an absolute piece of dog shit, and I don't understand.
Wait, Windows 8 came after. What was before Windows 8? Windows Vista.
Windows 7.
Oh, Windows 7. I liked Windows 7, and I think that's also a trend of Microsoft. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because this Kinect forcing a product, it's not the first time Microsoft's done that. Windows 8 is a great example.
Windows 8 is the perfect example.
Okay.
And while you haven't used it, I haven't used to Kinect. I have used Windows 8 on my laptop, and it sucks, man. I hate it so much.
No, here's an interesting story about Windows 8, actually. My mom worked at a law firm where they use PCs. They don't like using Macs because of the business side of it. And they all switched to Windows 8, and the entire firm complained, and they moved back to Windows 7. The entire firm was upset by Windows 8.
Yeah, dude, I don't blame them.
And that happened, and that's happening at my college right now, is that I have like a semester left and around, and they have Windows 8 on all the computers, and they apparently don't work. So I will be trying Windows 8 soon, Peter. Now you've made me very scared.
Have fun.
And again, that was a product that nobody liked. They kept trying to push it, and people switched over to Apple. Basically, I feel like...
I mean, that's what I'm thinking right now. I don't know how long my laptop is going to last, since it's had some mechanical troubles. But yeah, the moment it kicks the bucket, damn straight I'm not getting another PC,
And you
especially
didn't
not
want a
with
Windows 8. You only got one because your laptop got stolen.
Yeah, and I mean, there's literally no other option with new laptops now. I guess you can try to install Windows 7, but I mean, I had Windows 8 for free, so I figured I'd try it, and it sucks, and I don't want to pay more money for Windows 7.
Yeah, that's one reason I won't get rid of my PC. I mean, I actually like PCs in a way because it's something I'm more familiar with a PC, even though I know Macs well, but it's one reason I haven't bothered getting a new laptop because I do not want to get one with Windows 8 on it. And to me, it feels like with the
Xbox One, November.
Oh, it comes out on the 22nd. I'm actually in front of a Best Buy right now, and
this Friday.
It comes out this Friday. So at 12:01 a.m. to be exact. But to me, it feels like with the Kinect is that Microsoft is making the same mistake again, which is surprising because you think they would have learned from Windows 8 not to force down a product people don't like.
It's just corporate arrogance at its finest. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, and that's probably why I might honestly we'll get a PS4 in the future. Unless the reviews are good. I mean, we still need to actually see official reviews of it before we can make a full prediction.
Yeah, that's true. We have been very negative about the Xbox One. Do you have any positives that you want to say about it?
I've always liked I like that it's gonna have a huge, the graphics look great, and I like the controls better than the PlayStation to me.
Yeah, I think the Xbox 360 controller is one of the best video game controllers.
And they have had great successes in games, and franchises that want games on the Xbox, and I just hope that they don't ruin it.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to disagree with you on the whole games thing because there really aren't a whole lot of exclusive properties that I really like for that Microsoft has, You
didn't like Dead Rising?
No. I mean, it was a lot different for me early in the Xbox 360 life cycle when Mass Effect and Bioshock were both Xbox exclusives.
But they're not anymore.
So, yeah, I seriously lost interest after that.
Yeah.
And I haven't really seen any exclusives that seem to really catch my eye, except for Titanfall.
Well, I think
which
because
really cool.
a lot of companies have gone through a lot of changes, like LucasArts, now is shut down, which is unfortunate. Because I think BioWare will still be making Star Wars games, but they had the one game I'm disappointed that they were making was 1313, which I think would be a great game that I want to see. Because I think there's going to have to be the levels, what they're going to innovate with is and how they're going to use the new technology. So that's one reason some of you will probably buy the system anyway, but remember when the 360 came out, it took people a long time to figure out how to use the operating system well. We all thought GTA 5 might have been the best 360 game in the whole life cycle. Actually, that's a great topic. Sorry,
What?
I just thought the best game that got released on the Xbox 360. The best looking game would probably be Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. That's how long it took to get something that looked that good. So.
I mean, it only makes sense that the best thing would come at the very end.
So yeah, that's just kind of I hope Xbox One's good, but mandatory. Did they get rid of the mandatory Kinect? Or is it still on? Do you know?
I don't know. The last thing I heard was that all Xbox Ones are shipping with the Kinect.
Which no one will end up using. Which is weird, is that for them to love the Kinect, there's no Kinect games coming out that I can think of.
I mean, I just don't know even what games are coming out for the Xbox One.
Yeah, nothing's been hyped. I mean, Dead Rising 3 is coming out. I assume
they're releasing games like Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts on the Xbox One as well. Same with the Assassin's Creed
they're going to be,
game.
well, I guess Watch Dogs will be an Xbox One exclusive.
No, PS3, sorry, goddamn, PlayStation 4 too. It's coming out on everything.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah.
Because it's the only game I'm looking forward to. But the problem is I think the entertainment system is just that people won't use it as much because to have a huge movie system doesn't really seem to make sense, given like piracy and how like, and basically that nobody really uses DVDs anymore. Which I guess you can stream stuff, but why would you need? And it's adding like almost an extra unneeded accessory to have an Xbox on to watch a movie when you cannot use one and watch it on better quality on a PC, which is what most people do our age. So what
that's what most people do, but the thing is, you can have it hooked up to your TV very easily.
What I actually heard, and I haven't confirmed this, but this is a rumor I've heard, is that Microsoft is changing leadership, and that the new leadership is considering abandoning the Xbox product, which means the Xbox licensing could be sold to another company.
Wow.
That I did hear, and I will...
Oh yeah, I think I heard something like that a while back.
That Microsoft is losing interest in the Xbox, so...
Yeah, I think they also lost a lot of money, too, on the Xbox and the Xbox 360.
Really?
So that would be a pretty big game changer if it just went back to Nintendo and Sony.
What do you think would happen if Microsoft were to sell the Xbox licensing? Who do you think would buy it? Now, I remember reading this article, and I heard someone say Apple. But that doesn't seem like a thing Apple...
I mean, they could. I mean, Apple used to make gaming machines, but it'd probably be Google. Because,
it'd be Google?
I mean, would you be surprised with how much money Google has? And I'm sure that they would want to just grab everything.
Here's somebody wrote this comment, and I don't remember who the username was, but someone said, given that Apple has created iPhone games that have been very successful and has almost their own gaming industry now, what would might be the reason that they would buy Xbox. Because of success, even if their games are a lot simpler, but have made lots of money. When we think of the sale, how many people have bought and played Angry Birds?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that, first of all, Apple's not developing any of their games. They're just providing a platform. And also, second of all, why would they want to buy the Xbox property if it's already proven to be kind of a hard brand to make money off if they already have their own successful gaming platform? True. I mean, the only reason why I could see them buying it is to sort of do what giant soccer teams like Real Madrid do, and that's just to sign players so that other teams can't. I mean, to go into some sports bullshit and to ruin the vibe of our nerd show.
No problem.
The manager / coach, whatever they call them in Europe, is a guy named Jose Mourinho.
Yes, I know who that is. My brother's a soccer. Watches soccer, so I do know that. Yeah,
one of the English Premier League rivals. He now coaches Chelsea now.
Yeah.
Was thinking of signing this Brazilian player, who's supposed to be really talented.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he heard about that, he threw, I think, like $30 million at this guy and said, "You want to play for me?" And he said, and this Brazilian guy, his name is William or something, he said, "Fuck yeah, I want to play for Chelsea." And so he got him. And it's not even like Chelsea needs more attacking players, because they have a
bunch of good attacking players.
Way too many attacking players. It was just a question of get this guy so this other team can't have him. And if Apple were to purchase Microsoft, or to purchase the Xbox brand, I think that'd be the only reason that they'd do it.
That's a well-reasoned conclusion, actually.
Yeah. Sort of like what the fucking monsters at the Weinstein Company do.
Yeah, they do.
Purchase the rights to various films and screenplays so that another studio or a production company can't make it.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually what the Weinstein Company does.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, a topic I've wanted to bring up for a while, because it is a real possible game changer. Whether it'll happen or not, I think could be, because I've heard the rumor, and now with the Xbox One, I'm thinking it's more possible, because if the sales are weaker than the PlayStation, the possibility of change of ownership property ownership, there's a word for it, I can't think of it at the moment, is more of a reality. And here's an interesting question: if it's going to change hands, like I've heard, and I'll find the links to the articles so we can post them up. Who would you think should own the property? Who do you think could make the most? Who can make the best product with the Xbox rights? Let's form it that way.
I mean, I don't know who would be the best person to buy
Who do you
it, but
think
just to
would?
think of who could, it would have to be a big tech company. So
Is that why you thought Google?
yeah, that's why I thought Google, because if Microsoft is going to sell their brand, they're going to want a lot of money, and Google's a very, very wealthy company, so I could absolutely see Google throwing a lot of money to form their own gaming console. Because I remember in an earlier show we talked about how Google doesn't really know what the hell they're doing anymore, since
Yeah, they're kind of in a no man's land. Like, they're competing with phones with Apple, and they're kind of competing on technology with Sony.
I mean, the whole thing is that Google used to, they used to just have the search engine and, various programs like Google Maps and stuff like that, and
Yes.
Google Bookstore, or Google Store, whatever.
Which, by the way, Google
Yeah.
outbeat Apple in their own map app.
Yeah.
Map app, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing is that Google was pretty much in charge of producing software, but
And they've
now they
actually
want to
competed,
produce.
and also, it's just interesting from a
Yeah.
economic standpoint, Google phones are the only one who have actually outdone Sony as opposed to being a rival to Apple in terms of the technology king.
But I mean, now Google has, with their various products, has also expressed an interest in producing hardware as well, and the Xbox is, well, it's a piece of hardware
Already created.
that's already been made. It already has a brand name. It's already got some brand loyalty based on fanboy rage that you see all across the internet.
Yes.
So yeah, I'd say why not throw, I don't know, how much do you think it would cost? Billions, maybe?
Well, let's
couple
see.
hundred million?
Disney bought the rights to Star Wars for what, $3 billion, right?
I
It's
don't
about.
know.
It was some number
tell
of
me.
billions. I don't remember what the exact number was, but they got a lot of money for it. No, I think I'm in the wrong lane actually. Oh well, I meant to go on this street, not this street. Oh well.
But yeah, I mean, based on what I can see, Google's the only company that could really afford it.
Now,
So-
if Google were to buy it, what do you think? What do you think? How do you think it would change it? Because I think this is the most exciting piece of news to me. Is I think that also what's a possibility is that Sony could basically corner the market themselves.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, because Nintendo is... Oh man, Nintendo.
Nintendo is
I
never.
mean, what do you want to say about Nintendo at this point?
Oh, by the way, Nintendo. This is kind of just a random offshoot topic. Nintendo's coming out with a new Zelda game for the first time in a while. No,
yeah,
Nintendo.
oh, guess what? It's another Zelda game. It's another Mario game all the time.
I
I mean, at the end of the day, the thing about Nintendo is that they just don't have a clue anymore.
Yeah, Nintendo basically, I think, has stayed alive by having this really small but extremely loyal fan base that they have. Because they have an extremely loyal fan base to them, and it's big in international markets too. Kind of not to more so to the extent that they sell most of their stuff in Japan. Japan is their number one market, which isn't the U.S., which means that in terms of the video game industry here, I mean, it's really Sony versus Microsoft. Nintendo's kind of just there.
Oh yeah, no question. And I mean, just, yeah, I'll say it again. I said it before and I'll say it again. Nintendo just doesn't have a clue where, they talk about all these features that their console has, and you just think, and when you hear them, you'll just say, wait, you mean this console, you mean the damn machine couldn't do that before?
Yeah.
Why did it take you guys so goddamn long to do this?
Yeah, exactly. That's, I think...
Like, do you know the whole friend code system for Nintendo consoles?
No.
Where pretty much if you wanted to play with your friends online, you had to give them a specific 14-digit code
What?
to your
Okay,
friends, and
that
you'd have
sounds-
to use it every time you wanted to play with people, and Nintendo finally got rid of that.
How long did that take? And that took a long time.
Oh, it happened with the Wii U. So.
Nintendo's like a glacier. It moves and changes really slowly. And that's what, honestly, I think people even more, because we talk about how Call of Duty, they're producing the same first-person shooters. Compared to Nintendo, it's really nothing when you think about it.
Oh yeah.
Because I think Nintendo has done the same, how many, 10 character titles? Like, what was the last time they made, and they have other characters they've used that they don't use anymore, like
Yeah.
Star Fox.
Oh yeah, we've talked about this before.
Yeah,
where
like Star Fox.
it's pretty much if Nintendo announces a new game, it's most likely a Mario game, maybe a Zelda game,
Maybe a
and-
Luigi game. Luigi
and
sometimes is there.
after that, it's just whatever.
Whatever.
You know.
If Nintendo created a new character, that would be, like, mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Armageddon's more likely to happen than that at this point. But, yeah, Sony could corner the market on that, which, would make me nervous if they did that, because my thing about monopolies is when there's a monopoly of some kind, the quality just winds up going down.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, but I think the one reason that I wouldn't like, okay, no, not Apple, but if Google, do you think Google, if they bought Xbox, would they be more hands-on or hands-off of a company? Because I think Microsoft is almost too hands-on.
I honestly have no idea.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
I only
I
said
think
I
that's
don't
a-
know if Google's the best company or what they do. I just based on my based off my limited knowledge of the tech world, it seems like Google's in the best position to
Buy it.
buy a big property like that.
And also, I think that has to do with, I think that the head of Google is what the Xbox brand would need, because Sony has that, don't they have a main spokesperson guy that talks about it? That face, what's his name? Actually, I'm thinking of the Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean every company has one.
But,
And the only one I remember is Don Matrick for the Xbox because he pretty much fired himself
yeah.
after E3.
Yeah, when you have a face that is not likable for your brand, that's bad.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
the-
he just... You know what, I think at some point, in early 2013, Don Matrick just said, you know what, I don't want to work for Microsoft anymore, but I don't want to quit.
Hmm.
What's the best way to get my ass fired?
Yeah, exactly.
And, well, shit, he figured it out.
He did. I think also what would be exciting about Google running it is the head of Google, Eric Schmidt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his right name, but the head of Google is a
Is
very...
that his name?
It's
I don't know who that is.
S-C-H-U-M-E-T, I think is the spelling of it.
S-C-H-M... I think, yeah, Schmutt.
But I
That's
don't...
probably right.
I don't know. It's a weird pronunciation, but he would be a great person to own the property. Like, we talk about how, like, different sports teams having a great owning... The owner really has a big impact on the team.
Oh, you mean...
Like the Dodgers, for example. This
Yeah.
change in ownership, how big of a deal that was, and how much
Yeah.
more... How
Or
the franchise has improved.
Yeah, or with the NBA, you think of our very own Los Angeles Lakers
Yes.
with the great Jerry Buss, who
Uh-huh.
died, I think, this year,
Yep.
fortunately.
Unfortunately.
And then you can compare that to the living piece of shit that is Don Sterling, the owner of the Clippers, and how awful the Clippers have been for so long.
Yeah.
Now that the Clippers are pretty good because they finally got some talent, but Don Sterling is the absolute worst human being.
Yeah.
I gotta hate that man. You know what? Another episode. I will talk about how Donald Sterling is
I hate Donald
a
Sterling,
human,
too.
just an
He's kind of
absolute
an asshole.
motherfucker of a human being.
He's
in
a really
another episode.
not a cool guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's unreal.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the
Oh,
problem
and also,
is.
just came up with another one. Mark Cuban, owner of the Dallas Mavericks.
What about him?
No, he's just a great owner because
He is,
you know
because
he gives a
is
shit
passionate
about the
the
team.
Mavericks. Like,
Yeah,
I know some about Mark Cuban. I find he's a very intelligent guy. Like, he grew up very poor and a Dallas Mavericks hardcore fan, and then ended up buying his favorite team.
Yeah.
Which is kind of just funny in its own way. But
I mean, yeah, that's the thing.
it
You
shows
just-
that, and well, I think that's the difference. Why I brought that up about the Clippers is that the owner really matters. Like, they're only better because they got good teams, but the Clippers have not surpassed the Lakers in being, you know, the basketball star in LA. The Lakers still have that more, that we see it as part of the LA culture, whereas the Clippers are kind of like an outside thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Clippers, too. I went to Clippers games all the time. It's just that they will always be
second
the
to the
little brother.
Yeah, they'll be the Lakers' little brother, even if they have better seasons and whatnot. And I think what the point I was getting at was that the owner who owns the product and the passion matters. And I think with the Xbox One and the PlayStation bringing it back full circle, that is why I think what the difference is at the core. Tell me more of that saved.
All right. No. It was saved, but for some reason it just stopped and...
Okay.
Yeah, so unfortunately you were cut off mid-sentence, Alex.
Yeah, okay. No, I think that... Were we talking about the owners, or... Is that Microsoft doesn't have passion for the Xbox One. Not the way Sony does. I mean, that's kind of the... I think the bigger difference that I don't think people are really talking about. Is that... Microsoft just doesn't seem to care about the Xbox product, the Xbox brand, that there's no, like, desire for it to do well. It feels like more like a side project in somebody's garage or basement.
No, it's pretty harsh.
I think so. And I think that's this, in business, you have to have passion for what they do. Like, that's why I think Apple... Is this a red light here? Oh, shit.
Yeah, this is a red light.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just sort of the same argument that, it's the same philosophy that I think a lot of,
I almost bumped into that guy's car. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Did I bump into it?
I don't think so.
No, I would have felt it.
I think he probably would have gotten out and called you a motherfucker if you did, so I think we're in the clear.
Okay, good.
But yeah, it's just sort of the same philosophy that I think a lot of fashion designers have. I'm not a very fashionable guy, but every now and then, you know, you'll catch an interview, and pretty much they all say the same thing, where they would say, all right, when I'm designing like a jacket or something, I have to think to myself, would I wear it? And if the answer is no, then I don't. Is this thing? Yeah, it's working.
Wow, that guy bumped at me.
And they would say, well...
Did I bump into this? Okay, I didn't bump into that guy. Okay, sorry, I almost thought I bumped into some guy, so I just freaked out for a second. Hold on. I'm gonna turn right and just get off at the street right now.
Yeah. What was I saying?
Sorry, I apologize, guys. I always do driving, so stuff happens when you drive.
Something about fashion designers. Oh yeah, where they say, would I wear this item that I'm designing? If the answer's no, then you scrap the idea. Where I'm not sure if all businesses follow the same philosophy, you know? Where, you know, if there's someone at Microsoft who's working on the Xbox and they say, and if they have to ask themselves, would I enjoy this? Would I, you know, play with it? And if the answer is no, then you can't sell that.
Yeah,
you know?
You can't, and I think that's the real rub. Is that they don't seem to have the passion Sony does, and I think Microsoft would. And why I bring this up is because Eric
Schmidt, right?
Schmidt is like Steve Jobs in that he really loves the product. Like, that's why I think Apple became what he was, because of the late Steve Jobs' passion into what he was doing. And I think that really matters more than we give it credit for. And I think Eric Schmidt, he actually recently created a space company with James Cameron. That's Planet X. What's it called? Planetary Resources. That space mining company that he did with James Cameron. That just, I think, is an example of how he's willing just to be innovative and try new things. And, you know, if they bought, hopefully if it does go up for sale, I think Google should buy it. Plain and simple. It would be I think it would be great for the industry, because I think it needs a fresh perspective. Like, I think that's maybe what the industry is really lacking. Because I put a lot of thought into this, and I think, you know, like, my best example that changes perspective is in the food industry. We do food reviews that change in how like changes in what type of food and changes in style is what keeps restaurants alive over the years, the ones that have survived long. And the video game industry, I think, has been around long enough where new players need to enter in the field, because it's a really tiny field of companies, really, in this industry. There's
There are only 3 major companies.
only 3 companies, really, and I think there's a lot it's suffering almost from a monopoly problem. It's not really a monopoly because it's not one company, but it's the lack of competition and the lack of different, companies with different takes, I think, might be the problem as a whole.
And I mean, right now I'm defining a major video game company as a company that designs hardware and software.
Hardware and software, yes.
Both.
Thank you for that, clarifying that. And yeah, I hope that I think could be what's really needed. Because I think the innovation is coming more, I think, from the software than the hardware. But the software, like we have Rockstar, who I think really leads the pack in innovation, really. They always have to be. Like leading...
Yeah, out of all the major gaming companies.
Yeah, because
I don't want to say that they're the most innovative company, because there are all sorts of
there are other ones.
different indie companies that do cool shit.
Yeah. But I think that I think that the industry is afraid of experimenting. I think that's part of the problem. And I see that in film, too, that I talk about a lot, is that the fear of trying new things, I think. And which is even weird that they stick to old things that they know, even when they're not that successful.
And that's why I like Sony, too. Do you remember that Heavy Rain game that
Yeah,
came
I
out?
do.
Yeah. I heard it wasn't amazing, but it was definitely different, and Sony, unlike Microsoft, is the kind of company that has proven that they will give weird things like Heavy Rain a chance.
Yeah, they'll take risks.
Yeah, do you remember Shadow of the Colossus as well?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, another Sony exclusive. And I mean, yeah, there are just numerous examples like that.
And I think you have to take risks, and I think that Xbox is doing, like, sticking to the more entertainment side. I think they're trying to play it too safe. That they don't trust their own market, their own consumers to do well. They have to bring in outside ones, and it just doesn't work. You have to focus on because I think the way people do well is you focus on a certain audience and just try to keep making more products that they will buy. Like with Apple does it. They market to their hardcore fan base. Other people like their stuff, but they market to the hardcore. I mean, that's the whole, I think, what an Apple store is. It's like a giant Candyland, a candy store for tech snobs, really. That's what an Apple store is. And also, remember, I think Microsoft doesn't really innovate. They've really only been copying what Apple's been doing. Like the Microsoft store, it looks exactly like an Apple store. I mean, come on, you seen the Microsoft stores?
Yeah, I have.
And I think they're scared to innovate. They seem to just be looking around to see what other companies have done, and they're like, oh, we can adapt that. And I think as a company, to make a good product, you can't just only adapt your competitors' successes. Or copying your competitors' successes.
You have to take risks of your own, and you have to make mistakes that are your own sometimes.
And I think that when you make a mistake, you disengage the product, which is what I think Apple does. Even though Apple doesn't make video games, I'm using it as a point of reference. The best example is when Apple did their maps and they didn't do well and they got rid of them. What was the Apple map called? Was there a name to it? The map feature, and then they all switched to Google Maps.
Apple Maps or something. I mean, they still have it, but I think it's just they're working on it and trying to make it better and better. Mm-hmm. But it's just that Google Maps has been keeping pace and doing them one better.
And you have to realize when your product is not going to be competitive, and I think that's I think Microsoft's problem is they're doing these like motion control when the Wii does that and does it better, because the Wii not like the Kinect, but it has that motion sensor technology in it.
And I mean, think about how the Wii's doing now.
Not well.
I mean, there's a reason why Nintendo was the first company to produce a next-gen console. That's because the Wii's really fallen off the wagon after its early success.
Yeah, and I'm surprised Microsoft hasn't learned that from its competitor, because I feel like there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and I think that Microsoft do you know what they're doing? Their main problem overall, they're doing the appealing to there's a phrase I heard, I don't know if you told me this, when you try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. And Microsoft and that's a trap companies fall in, by trying to appeal to a wider audience and end up basically shooting themselves in the foot, or and sometimes in the head. Basically, companies causing themselves to go bankrupt. And I think that's what Microsoft's doing. They're doing the appeal to everyone fault, really, and it doesn't work. When so many different industries have tried to appeal to more people, and they've all really kind of failed.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true. Where
I can't think
you
of
just have to understand that not everyone's going to be happy with you, no matter what. I mean, feel free to ask me. I'm black. You know, no matter what I do in this world, you know, I could find the cure for every single disease, and someone will hate me.
Yep. And someone will, and that's always the case. There are people gonna not like you no matter what you do.
Yeah, so
you could put and this is the extent, and this is the best example. You could put a YouTube video about puppies up, and there'll be a comment probably about a negative comment about you're an asshole or how Obama is evil, for example. You could put a video up of kittens and somebody will be angry about it.
Fag kittens.
Yep.
Yeah, I guarantee you someone deep in the comment section of that video will say something like that.
Mm-hmm. Like, and that happens on every video. Like, you know the Noah's Ark video? Have you read the comment section? It's all an entire religious debate.
Oh,
for like,
Christ.
That's why I don't read that. Like, I don't read those, because it just that's what all like videos turn into, is when possible it turns into an angry argument.
You know what would be a great idea?
Yeah.
And you know, now I'm thinking about reserving this idea, but you know what? I don't care. I want someone who's really good with, who's a really good programmer to make this. Make a comment blocker, sort of like an ad blocker for a web browser that just blocks all advertisements.
Well, you don't have to read comments. They're usually at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
You can just read the article.
No, just knowing that they exist infuriates me. So I just say, make a comment blocker, please, for me.
That is a great idea, actually. Yeah, because I feel comment pages. I don't know when. I guess as long as there's been the internet, there's been the comment section, and it's just like I feel like it was something. It seems like it was something designed for some noble intention, and it turned out completely wrong. Kind of like the internet in general. Because the internet, like, in Xbox Live is another version of the internet. It was designed to, Xbox Live was designed for gamers all around the world to have fun together. People on Xbox Live don't seem to be having fun. They just seem to be arguing. Like, in Call of Duty, that's what turned me off of Xbox Live. People are arguing. I'm like, guys, aren't you supposed to be having fun? Isn't this supposed to be your fun time?
Yeah, I am having fun. You fucking homo!
And it's just made video games, and I think video game people angry. And the best example of this, I'm gonna go back to this game, World of Warcraft. There's never a time where the internet has made things not fun. Because people took, like...
You mean how that game is a job?
It's a job. It really is a job, and I know you never got addicted to it, but I did temporarily,
so glad I didn't.
and you met people who did.
So many people tried to get me hooked on that game. No, you know what? I have a friend who got the World of Warcraft bug bad.
Oh, I had it
really bad.
I didn't have it as bad as my brother did, though. Max had it. Max Rappaport and Chris had it worse. Max and Chris did. But yeah, like, it was a game that almost becomes like work. And I think Call of Duty has the same problem. Is that the internet is just, I think the internet, it's become, like, it brings the internet hatred with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I don't want to work for a game, you know. I was listening to a podcast, a review where they talked about Call of Duty Ghosts, where the guy said, you know what, I actually looked up articles on how to get good at Call of Duty, and they said the first 3 months are going to be terrible for you. To which, you know, the guy understandably said, yeah, you know what, I'm not practicing at a video game. Like, no, absolutely not. And I feel the same way, too.
Yeah, exactly. If it's feeling like work, I can't enjoy it. Like, that was the problem. That's what you saw in World of Warcraft. I think is the most extreme example. Is that people, like, there were websites for like guilds or like, you know, what are they called on Xbox Live? They have the
Clans or something.
Clans, and they're the same thing. Almost like Xbox Live and MMOs are almost the same in a way. You think about it,
I mean, yeah, it's just all internet-based gaming.
And I think that, going back to that, I think maybe people are tired of it. The fact that the most successful games have been single-player focused.
Yeah, at least for this year.
At least for this year. That, it's just not pleasant. That's another reason I'm gravitating towards buying a PS4 when it comes down to price. Obviously, I'm not spending $40.
Oh, yes. Yeah, same with me. I mean, the big drop.
They don't have a huge as a crazy of a live audience, I think.
At least it doesn't come off that way. Also, another thing is that I just like Sony's exclusives more than Microsoft. Because I've pretty much lost all interest in whatever the hell the Master Chief's supposed to be doing in the new Halo games now.
Yes, Halo 4 I actually didn't like. That campaign was one of the most boring things I ever played. I was just about to launch into a rant about Halo, but I figured we have other shit to talk about, and I think I already talked about Halo a bit. We already talked about why Halo's gone downhill, and it has.
Yeah, and I mean, I also had some things of how Halo could change, but I think that'd be better for a different episode. So, moving on, do you have anything else you want to say about the next consoles?
No, except I really hope I hope that Microsoft can recover, and I hope it's good when it comes out. I'll be reading the reviews of it, because obviously I can't just drop $500 on one to try it myself. Which again, that price is extremely high on a second side note. But if it doesn't do well, and I will find the article about it, but I hope it does do well. It's going to be interesting to see how people react to it, and like they said, that what features they ended up removing, because they promised they were going to remove a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's after all the backlash and all the changes they made, it's pretty much a souped up Xbox 360 now.
Which cool.
Honestly, it's not a bad thing, because I think we're both in the same boat in that when we buy a video game console, we want to play games.
Yeah. If I want to watch a movie, I'll use it on my laptop. And
oh shit, I have some... Never mind.
What?
I should not say.
Oh, what? Oh, never mind. Okay. Well...
I will... You know what? I did not realize that I had sexy neighbors. Let's just say that. and I will leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. All right. Yeah. But, yeah, I'm just going to wrap up by saying I hope the Xbox One does well on Friday, in about a week from now, but we'll see. We'll see how people react to it.
And yeah, I guess
And we'll see if more of my predictions of what's happening come true. We'll see if we're right or not, honestly.
And I guess I will close by saying I'm right there with you, Alex. I hope the Xbox 360 does well, since I feel like we were kind of unfair during this discussion where we heaped a lot of crap onto it.
Yeah, we really did.
But at the end of the day, I'm curious, and games like Titanfall looks really, really cool.
Yeah,
and I'm very interested in seeing how that turns out. And yeah, hey, new video game consoles, that does not happen all too often.
No, it doesn't. So
it is kind of a big deal, and I want to see where these consoles go and what kind of games come out. So
No.
I guess moving on now.
Yep. Okay, so well, there was something we brought up when we were at PJ's Tacos. I can't quite remember what.
Yeah, that was holy. Did you see that man's garage?
Yes, I did.
That was the most well organized garage I've ever seen in my life. My
That was so
God.
neat.
Yeah, it's so perfectly organized. Kinda freaky too.
Obsessive compulsive a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
Maybe a serial killer.
maybe. No, that's maybe my neighbor actually.
Oh yeah, I know
I've-
that.
I've-
I know who you're talking
When I grew
about.
in the childhood house I grew up in, I grew up with a very crazy neighbor. I don't know if any of you guys ever had a crazy neighbor, but not as crazy as mine. Guarantee it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But so something very
Yeah.
kind of unexpected. Well, not well. It was. Everyone knew that it was coming, but when it happened, we were all kind of, surprised
Yes.
when
Alright,
it
go on.
happened, and that was Blockbuster officially going out of business. They're
Yep.
closing all their stores, and yeah, that pretty much marks the end of the video rental store.
Yes, but yeah, people you used to actually have to go to a store to rent videos and DVDs.
Yeah, you actually had to walk out your door and, interact with people to buy a movie.
Yep.
You fucking shits.
Yep, and that's the end of that's gonna be something that I will have to explain to my kids. Oh, wow. Well, wow, I just did a really weird turn right there.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah, so that video stores are now gone.
Yeah, are pretty much busto.
That might be an interesting trend, is that another side effect of the internet is that it's starting to change more and more. I mean, I wonder if, like, in the future, I'm going to have to explain what people aren't going to know what a DVD is.
Yeah, it's very possible. I mean, everything's going digital.
Very
you remember
fast.
a few years ago, Borders went out of Borders, the bookstore.
Mhm.
In case you don't know, people, a bookstore is a store where you buy books. Just to clarify.
I think people haven't forgotten bookstores yet. At least I hope not. I don't think the Nook and what are they called? The Kindles
Kindle.
haven't been around that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, bookstores.
But yeah, Borders went out of business, and also famously, and this is a while ago, so really, you younger viewers, you won't have heard about this, but Tower Records, that was the big music store. Yeah, you also had to buy music at stores too, at
Yep.
physical places.
There was a time there wasn't an iTunes, guys.
hmm
There was a time where.
Yeah, and it's just everything's going digital. And wait, hold on, Alexa.
Oh, I went in the wrong way, aren't I?
I'm gonna start heading towards the bridge. Yeah,
Where are we going now?
bridge.
Oh, we have to
So,
go towards
yeah.
the bridge. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we have to see Thor
We'll
to do a review for
do
you
a review
guys.
of it, which means I have to do a really weird U-turn. But yeah, Tower Records. And wait, is Virgin Records still around?
I think that's a. Is that? Do they actually sell music? I thought they were a production company that they just produced music.
Oh, I thought they sold music too. Isn't there a very big Virgin record store in Manhattan? I could be
I don't
entirely
know.
wrong, so maybe.
I
I'm
thought
wrong.
that they were just a recording
Yeah,
company.
but that's So on that note, what companies do you think are in? And this might take several years, so this is nothing that's gonna materialize right away. But
I mean, I just want to actually say before we jump into any predictions or anything that I was kind of surprised, or I was kind of bummed out when I heard that Blockbuster was gone, because
why?
I remember going there a lot of the time and actually discovering movies that I never would have heard about before.
Yeah.
Because the one thing about digital store where you can just enter whatever you're trying to find to a search bar is that you don't really get the chance to experiment and see new things. Yes, because when you go to a Blockbuster, I don't know about you, but whenever I went to Blockbuster Video or Hollywood Video, I would, I'd have a movie in mind, but I'd start at one end of the store and work my way all around just to see all the stuff that's there. And sometimes I found some pretty good movies. For example, there was a smaller comedy called Fido,
Yeah.
It was a comedy about the post world after the zombie apocalypse. You know, in which
Really?
a-
Fido sounds like a dog movie.
well, I mean that's the point, because this kid one day, he's farting around in the woods doing dumbass kid shit, and he finds one of the last remaining zombies just strolling around. So he decides to keep the zombie as a pet, and shenanigans happen. But it was actually funny. It was a genuinely good movie, and that's something that I kind of miss, of just going to a store and looking around and trying to find new things.
Yeah.
When I was in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, and I went to an Amoeba music store.
An Amoeba music store?
Yeah. Amoeba, the big...
Yeah. I know it.
I actually didn't know that it was a chain. Or
Really?
that there were multiple stores. I thought there was just that one in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
so there's one in San Francisco. I went there, I found all kinds of music I never had heard of. And I
Yeah.
ended up checking them. I didn't buy anything there, but I ended up checking them out later when I got back. And it was really cool. And that's just something that you don't really get from a digital store unless you're actively,
Looking for it.
looking for something new. You have to go to the related artists page or something like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's the one thing I'll always miss about that I will miss about Blockbuster.
Yeah, and I think that's more things are becoming digital, and I don't know necessarily. I mean, I guess it's the way things are going, but whether it's like we've talked about, whether that progress is good or bad is really it's a debatable question.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think
I think
that
it's
more
fine.
honestly, I think more
Oh, sorry.
stores. I think I honestly think I think eventually that video game discs will be gone too.
Oh yeah, I've been saying that for a while. Where GameStop. I've been saying for a while that if you hate GameStop, then you should be super excited for these next consoles, because pretty soon, I guarantee you, you're only going to be able to buy games off the Xbox Live Marketplace or the PlayStation Store or whatever the Nintendo shop is called on their console, and that's
Mhm.
going to be the only way you can get these games.
Yeah, I know. I think we're becoming. I don't know. This is an interesting thought about the internet. That the internet is becoming like, someone called it the 21st century version of oil. Meaning that it's becoming that society almost to function needs the internet. Not the way you need like oil and food and water and the essentials, but
Well, think about how
in a way.
Well, I mean, no, I think that's absolutely right. Well,
I don't
because
think
think about, not to the same extent right now, but think about cloud computing. Right now,
Yeah.
a lot of, everything's starting to move towards the cloud from solid media in general. Not just,
I hate the cloud, by the way.
Yeah, I don't really care for it that much, but as much as tech companies love to talk about the cloud, it requires a steady internet connection to work. So if suddenly your supply of internet is cut off, it's similar to how if your supply of oil were to be cut off, you're sort of just left flailing in the
Everything's
wind.
kind of just
Everything comes to a standstill.
goes to chaos, like the oil crisis in the 70s, which
Yeah.
we weren't alive for, but
Yeah,
my parents used to tell me about that.
I mean, just for a more contemporary example of that, my sister does PR and marketing for a clothing manufacturer, and one day the internet just shot the bed in their office, and pretty much a lot of their stuff, works on the internet. Sales and
The work
And
basically,
communication.
everything went to a standstill.
yeah, they couldn't do anything. So my sister, she had to leave and like an hour or two after they lost power, she came back home and worked from the house.
And I think that's the real I think the real thing I'm worried about is that internet is basically like a service offered by companies, and I think it's ending up where companies are going to be completely dependent on a few companies. That the people who control the internet can almost control the world in a way. So, which is, I think, it's the dangerous of not being too dependent on it. Is that if it stops working, your company it can't work. And I think that is what, that I'm having to hark back to the Xbox One again, but if the internet doesn't work, you can't use it. And that, to me, being forced to buy one product in order to use another is a problematic.
Yeah, that's something.
It's a toxic relationship. That can, it'll work when it works, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It goes bad. Which is, I think, interesting to see how it's gonna change that when everything becomes more internet dependent. Like, there are actually, it's getting back to the internet and how it's really permeated everything. In LA, the public schools now, they're trying to do everything on iPads.
Oh yeah, the iPad program.
Textbooks are now becoming digital too.
That's one case where I actually do like the idea of introducing technology with textbooks, because textbooks are really cheap and they're really big, and it's a lot easier to just be able to load all of your textbooks onto one device. Textbooks cost especially big science books, they cost hundreds of dollars, and the ebook versions, they're maybe 20% of that, maybe 10% sometimes even, where it's just a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier, and you can still mark up the digital textbooks, that's one case where
the internet's almost getting rid of the retail industry, really, because retail has always been dominant since strip malls happened, but now big retail stores that have been around since almost the 20s, really, like Macy's, Robinson's May, like those stores are in trouble, and I think we see that because Black Friday, which I don't know, have you ever gone shopping on a Black Friday?
Fuck no, I haven't. I never
Black
will.
Friday, just if you guys want, I'm assuming most people have, but watch a video of a Black Friday at Walmart on YouTube, and people are crazy.
And the thing about that too is that
now
with Black Friday, there's now Cyber Monday, which is pretty much the same thing, except that you can buy whatever the hell you want from the comfort of your own couch.
So then again, why would you get up at 5 in the morning, wait outside in the cold, or go on your computer early in the morning with a cup of coffee? I like option 2 better, personally. It's just, I think that'll be another change of Blockbuster. I think retail, like Macy's and Macy's, big department stores are going to start going out of business. That would be interesting. Imagine if nobody, like the next generation, does not know what a department store is. Does not know what a Macy's is, for example, or like a Sears.
That would be interesting. It's just everything too. Shit, Amazon will deliver groceries to your house now.
Yeah, we're kind of becoming lazier, actually. I think we are. We're getting really lazy. Yeah, they deliver groceries to your house. It's called Fresh and Easy, I think. You see the trucks around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have grocery delivery. That's crazy when you think about it. And, they have... And, what was the other thing that's got on the internet? Oh, I heard this thing where restaurants now don't have waiters and waitresses.
I heard that too.
They have this thing where you have an iPad and you order, and then they have the foods. I guess one person brings the food to you, but you don't even order. One manager,
which is kind of weird. I guess it would be kind of freaky, but
it is
future, man.
It is the future.
It's the future.
I'm wondering how that'll be interesting, and even with movies, it's changing really more things now. People want, the rise of Hulu is a great example. How the TV industry is changing with the rise of Hulu. How many people now?
About Hulu. How's about Netflix?
Netflix is the best example.
Because
Netflix
is now producing original content, and as some writers and actors have discovered, it's actually better for producing meaningful content. I don't know if you saw, Kevin Spacey was interviewed about why he wanted to put what's the show called? House of Cards. House of Cards on Netflix, and he made a really great point where he said that they didn't want to make a pilot where they wanted to tell one continuous story, and every single network said, yeah, this is a great show and all, but it needs to have a pilot. And he said, no, pilots suck, and they just bring everything down, which I had never thought about, but I kind of agree with it because.
Yeah.
And Netflix was absolutely okay with saying, yeah, you don't have to do a pilot.
That's great. That could actually change. That might be interesting because networks are now having to. Because what's really changing is most people now do not watch a TV episode the day it's on its release time.
Yeah, most people, most people our age and who are a bit older than us don't have cable.
Yeah,
they just have an internet. What the fuck are those called? An internet router, and they pay for an internet service, and then they just stream all their TV shows and movies.
Yeah.
Or download them,
Yeah, and I think that's gonna change how televisions. I think that'll also increase quality. I hope so anyway, and I think that's I think it's making people less less willing to accept corporate. There's a word I'm trying to think of. Corporate money grabbing tactics. I think. Well, it's really things have to be consumer friendly now, because the internet is the most consumer friendly thing ever made. It's the most easy access thing that we've ever created. I think. Oh my God, they're opening a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Is that good or bad? I've never been to one.
I've heard both ends of the spectrum, so I've heard a variety of opinions about it. I know people who love it, so.
I mean, based on what I've seen, it just looks like a place where you can, eat bar food and drink and watch sports or something.
Really?
Which, I'm absolutely totally okay with that. Honestly, if I could do one thing for the rest of my life, it would probably be that.
Yeah.
Which, now when I think about it, isn't actually one thing. If I could do a very small handful of things for the rest of my life, I think eating bar food, drinking beer, and watching sports would probably be the handful I pick.
Yeah, that would be one of the handful of things I'd pick. I'd probably pick also smoking on a beach somewhere in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Just chill, relaxing. That'd be fun, too. But, yeah, that would be great. Where were we? I'm sorry, I just got really distracted by the Buffalo Wild Wings.
I actually don't remember, but, so yeah, do you have any, fond memories or any memories of Blockbuster at all? Any crazy stories?
Yeah, I remember it
something?
was cheap to get video games there. And I remember finding awesome movies. It's how I think, first found The Matrix. Was
Really?
by accident, yeah.
Just completely by accident, wow.
Yeah. Remember, the best things are discovered by accident. Alright, I'm about to
agree
go
with you.
pay for this ticket. What is it, $2? Yeah, I don't know. I just drove into a parking lot, people. Okay, so that was, is there anything else that you need to add? No, but that would be interesting, though. I will say this about the internet, and I'll give Microsoft, because going back to what we talked about earlier, a positive compliment. I like their idea of digital streaming so that content can be continuously uploaded.
And also,
I just think that with technology is not quite there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I also just wanted to add something to chip in before I interrupted you. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, go right ahead.
But also, Microsoft had some system where you could share digital games or something with your friends. I don't really know how it was going to work. I don't understand. I didn't really understand the technology of how that worked, but it sounds like a really interesting idea if it could work off, because I feel like that's one thing that people don't like about going all digital, because I like being able to loan games to friends, and I also like borrowing games from friends so that I could learn more about them. I'm trying to think if there's one game I borrowed from you a while back that got me completely hooked onto the series, whatever it was. cannot remember what it was.
Not
though.
Mass Effect.
It wasn't
okay.
Mass Effect.
Was it Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, it was Assassin's Creed. Yeah, it was Assassin's Creed. I borrowed that from you.
The first one?
Yeah, the first
no, you
one.
should have played the second one. I should have lent you the
No,
other one.
no. I mean, I really liked it, and I ended up buying the second one, but that one got stolen, which will be another time. Well, that story will be for another time. All that I can say is, Baltimore, you can go straight to hell, the very hell where you belong. Just kidding, Baltimore. I love you, kind of, sort of, not really. My emotions.
It's a love-hate relationship.
It's a love-hate relationship. My emotions are very, very mixed on Baltimore.
That is a great story that we will have to say for another podcast.
Yeah.
I honestly want to do a podcast about college in general.
It's college life now that
life. Now that we're kind of out of it. Well, I'm still in college, but I don't consider myself. I'm still taking classes, but
yeah. I mean, you're not really.
I'm not.
You're not a typical student.
No. So I don't consider myself in college. I'm kind of taking classes, but when I mean in college, I mean in the college psyche.
Yeah.
College mentality in the college psyche, really. I'm kind of like an outsider, really. Honestly,
An outsider observing.
Outsider
everyone.
observing it, who doesn't. Yeah, that's kind of how I see myself, really, because I'm going to be way older than all the college students there anyway. Which, it's weird when you look at, and that would be I don't think we don't have time right now, but
Yes.
we will do that podcast at a later time. I'm just announcing it, because I think it's also a nice and important one, too. But, yeah, I think that, oh man, we're so off topic. I totally forgot where we're at right now.
I mean, this episode is
The most
called "The Big Fucking Mess of a Show."
Yeah,
that's actually the title I'm gonna work with.
Big fucking.
The big fucking. Do you smell?
What?
Did you smell that?
What is it?
It smelled like weed.
Oh well.
Okay. Are you sure? No, dude, I'm telling you, it's definitely the guy next to us.
Okay. No, yeah, because it's coming through the AC, so it has to be somebody.
Yeah.
It was definitely that guy. Yeah. Yeah. In LA, it's very common when I'm driving by a public place that we can catch whiffs of the marijuana.
Yeah.
That THC
I think
smell.
it's still funny how my brain just. How it's like all your sensors are active. Just who's doing drugs right now?
It's like we have like instant like marijuana alarms in our brains. Like, I smell it. It's here. Wow,
Yeah, it's really funny because I didn't realize that until I went to college on the East Coast, and you'd walk past someone's dorm window, and I just suddenly stop and just like, what is that? Do you guys smell? And then everyone would look at me and say, what are you talking about? Dude, marijuana. You guys seriously don't smell weed?
Well,
and
we also in LA.
And they just sort of look at me like a crazy person.
Because they're East Coast people. On that note, yes, we do not endorse the use of drugs.
No, we do not.
But the legalization debate,
But I mean,
that is one I want to have, and I will tell this to viewers. I think for our generation, that will be a big debate of our lifetime.
Absolutely. And also, we don't endorse the use of drugs, but cool people do drugs. So, make of that whatever you will. So,
this
I think
has been the most messy episode of Car Chats, people.
Yep. As
I'm
we're
Alex.
going to call it, it's the big fucking mess of a show. Yeah, so you got Alex.
Yep.
And you got me, Peter. And we are going to go see Thor so we can record a review for you kind people. Alright. Have a good evening.
Well, it's late afternoon,
Yeah,
kind of.
have a good late afternoon. Once again, the big fucking mess of a show.
That's right. Very big mess. And you guys will hear from us soon.
Alright, peace. Alright. Yeah, it would have been nice if it stopped recording when I actually wanted it to stop recording. You fuck shit of a phone. Motherfucker, fucking asshole of a device. Fuck you.